Hello friends, Mr. Bullington here. Thanks for joining this read aloud. Before I read this story, have any of you ever told a fib? You know, a fib, a lie, something that's not true. I think probably all of us have one time or another in our lifetime, mostly when we were little and didn't know any better. But you have to be careful. You know, fibs can get you into a lot of trouble, which you'll see when I read this story to you. Edwurd Fudwupper Fibbed Big. It is explained by Fannie Fudwupper, his sister, with Berkeley Breathed helping slightly. He actually wrote the book. Okay. This is a Storyopolis book from Little Brown and Company. And before I read the book, I'd like to say that the author wrote here, the author wishes to thank President Bill Clinton, without whose daily inspiration this particular story just plain wouldn't have come to mind. For Allison. From a long line of liars, there's none higher upper than my fibbing big brother, the Edwurd Fudwupper. There he is now. I know just what he's doing. He's thinking of who could be next for some fooling. Edward's been cooking up fibs full of phooey. He'll serve them up sweet, all gooey with hooey. There's Mr. Edward, and there's Fannie up top. Last week, he fibbed big, and he told Mabel Dill, I read you've been voted the Queen of Brazil. They want you to come. Bikinis? Bring 10. I think Mabel went. No one's seen her since then. Yes, he thought them up long, and he thought them up tall. But did he think much of me? No, not much at all. Like the time he fibbed big and told Ben and Dinky that I had been born by a poodle named Stinky. That wasn't so nice, but that fib I'd forgive, if only he'd liked me or noticed I live. Early this morning, he did it again. He whacked a baseball and things smashed in the den. Dad rushed on over and found Mom's cracked pig. Then Edwurd Fudwupper fibbed way, way too big. What is he gonna say? It's all truly, clearly, quite simple, you know. The whole thing was done by two pigs from Pluto. They were cruising by Earth, looking down from above, when they spotted Mom's pig and they fell deeply in love. Oh. So they dropped one pig here. He just could not resist. That passionate porker insisted a kiss. But he leaned in too far and Mom's pig hit the ground. You see, on Pluto, they kiss sitting down. Then he left broken-hearted, upset and unseen, and his ship picked him up with a pig-lifting beam. That's all, that's the truth, said Eb the fib slinger. In the whole of fib history, a whopping humdinger. Then a yelp, and a howl, and a scream from nearby. Lorna May Loon had been listening outside. Mabel Dill, she cried loudly, has been missing for days. She must have been grabbed by those pig-lifting rays. So she got to a phone and she screamed loud and shrill. Space monster piggies have nabbed Mabel Dill. They're coming for me and they're coming for you. Send the Army and the Air Force and a dog catcher too. She's upset. And that's just what they did. They came for space pigs, with planes and with tanks and with loud whirligigs. Oh, it was dreadful. A real world stopper. All from an Edwurd Fudwupper fat whopper. Look at them all. Wow. They pointed their loudspeaker dishes to space, and those generals roared till red in the face. Now listen out there, we'll shoot, yes we will. Come back here at once, and bring Mabel Dill. Edward watched all of this for quite a long time. But people were staring at something behind. Oh, rats, Edward thought. How much more could there be? A face filled the sky from the hills to the sea. It did not look happy, nor pleasant, nor soft. In fact, that big thing looked somewhat ticked off. It was purple and green with an eye on its snoot. It opened its mouth roaring, "Who started this hoot?" Whoa. I live quite close by, just 2 galaxies down, and I just cannot sleep with this fuss and this sound. I know nothing of pigs nor a lost Mabel dill, so someone's been fibbing with slippery skill. Who is this gnat? Point out where he's at. Show him to me and I'll swat him down flat. Look how giant he is compared to our planet. Looks like he's losing his jammies, too. And that's what they did, each dad and each mother. They pointed right up at my shaking big brother. Edward dropped low. He was scared 10 times double. He fibbed way too big and now was in huge trouble. Then wait, what's that sound? A voice small and fine. Everyone stopped. Whose was it? It was mine. Oh, please, I called out. It's my fault, don't you see? I broke that little blue pig. Edward's fib was for me. So, dear grumpy thing with 3 eyes in your head, see that it's me you should swat down instead. What could I do? Edward faced a big mess. I told a fat fib. Yes, I'd learned from the best. I thought I'd be smooshed, smashed, squashed right on down. But that big face looked in with a smile, not a frown. I think he said firmly, you both are big fibsters, but out where I live, we're not loved by our sisters. Mine, by the way, I have left all alone, and now I'll go back to her sleeping at home. He looked at me odd, kind of sad, kind of blue. It sure would be nice to have one like you. Then he turned round his ship and back home he drove her. I turned to find Edward looking me over. He said not a thing as we walked back to Dad. When there he looked up and confessed, I've been bad. So we taped and we glued and we fixed Mom's pig, and we told Mom the truth, that we had fibbed, fat and big. Our folks hugged us both and collected no fines, but we sat in time out to pay for our crimes. Then Ed looked at me with a smile that was new and said, it is nice to have one like you. 2 former fibsters, that Edward and me, but brother and sister, we finally be. There's more. And if somebody knows where Mabel Dill went, please tell her from Edward that no harm was meant. There she is, the Queen of Brazil. So that, once again, is Edwurd Fudwupper Fibbed Big, explained by Fannie Fudwupper, but really written by Berkeley Breathed. If you like the way Berkeley writes, he's also an incredible cartoonist and does wonderful comics. Go to berkeleybreathed.com to see a lot more of his work. And I'll see you next time for the next read aloud, okay? Bye.